You moved it.
All set? You get the census, everything's all set to go? Okay. Hey, good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Well, I hope. Gonna call the meeting to order at 7:01 p.m. And our first order of business is to please rise and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so we do have one bit of correspondence I'd like to share with my fellow commissioners. And unfortunately, Patrolman Fletcher is going to be retiring. And he wrote a nice letter here. He basically has had 35 years in police work. He hasn't been here that long, but Chief, over 20 at least, probably with Fletcher?
Since year 2000.
Since the year 2000, so.
Here.
Yeah.
He was full-time with Derry before he came to work.
Yeah. So he's giving his resignation. It's been a pleasure. My relationship with him has always been top notch. He's a great guy. It's going to be sad to see him go. Here's his letter anyway. Okay. All right. Have you guys reviewed the minutes, and could we get a motion on the last month's minutes if you're in agreement?
I just have one correction
Okay.
on page 1.
Yep.
Last line in the chief's report.
Yep.
We have person, belongings up and not leave in plain sight. I believe that's supposed to be personal.
Oh, personal belongings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Other than that,
Okay, we'll add an AL, you got that where it says person?
Yeah, I don't think we need to make the grammatical corrections on the record, but
Oh.
that's fine, I'll make the change.
Okay, no problem. Other than that, can we entertain a motion?
so moved.
Okay. Second, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Good. Okay, thank you. Okay, minutes are all set. All right, that's gonna bring us to Neighborhood Watch. Steve Grange, pleasure to have you. How's it going?
Very well, how about you?
Not bad.
Good. I understand we did get a report a week or so ago about the burglary on Coleman.
Mhm.
The alert went out. I actually received it while I was at work, sent it out, sent out the information that was able to be sent out in regards to that burglary, and I'm sure we're probably gonna get an update on what's going on there. It is in my general area too, so I took the opportunity to go through and I encourage any of the Neighborhood Watch people that do have cameras or video equipment to review the video equipment, see if there's anything unusual that was going through their neighborhoods. Could be people driving through, casing out homes or something like that. And if it is, just, you know, if you have the opportunity with the camera to get a plate number or a description, to send it in, and I did do that for, I think it was a time period of about 24 hours. I was able to review, but it was actually one of the days was probably the quietest in my neighborhood, and there was, everybody there were people that actually lived in the neighborhood, so. But it's good that we got that information out, and I'm not sure what has been received, you know, from the police department, or the police department. Also, I understand that Raids Online is back online, so
Okay.
I checked that today and notified Melissa, and they did have the burglary on the 28th listed there on Raids Online too. So,
Beautiful.
but things are going well. Melissa's carrying on the tradition that Lil was doing for a while with the Neighborhood Watch, and working on several projects that I think she's going to be looking to present in the future. So.
Terrific. Any news from Jim and Carol?
No, I haven't heard from them since the last vacation that they've been on. They seem to be doing a lot of those recently.
Terrific. Well, you've been doing an awesome job. We appreciate you coming to the meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, any questions, gentlemen? All right, thank you. Chief?
We did get a few leads on that burglary. We got a suspect motor vehicle, and there were similar incidents. This was a type of burglary where they pushed in an air conditioner. Anybody that has an air conditioner on the first level should be aware of the fact that that's one way that these people gain entry. So if you're gonna have an air conditioner on the first floor, make sure that you reinforce it. But we do have some leads, and our detective sergeant is following up on it. That was the only burglary that we had in the month of August. And it was similar to other burglaries in other towns in the area. We stepped up patrols, we know what to look for, but we do a considerable amount of residential patrolling. So we get ready with one burglary, and hopefully it's probably on its way to being solved. I'm just gonna say that Neighborhood Watch program really does work, getting that information out there. Somebody came forward and said, oh yeah, I saw a black car backed up in the driveway. But they didn't think of it at the time, because, and there was a black car seen at in the vicinity of another burglary, so we're working on that. During the month, there were 856 calls for service, and one burglary. I mean, I had rather have no burglaries at all, but one, and having some needs to work on. Like I say, Neighborhood Watch group should keep up the good work.
Hey,
I'm gonna miss Fletcher. Fletcher was an icon. Everybody loved Dave Fletcher. We had a long discussion. He just had enough. Everybody out there with a camera and having to administer Narcan to people that put themselves in this situation, it just got to be too much for him. So,
yeah.
it's time. Scott Rogers is still out with a hip surgery. It's questionable whether he'll be back or not, but other than that, everybody's,
So where's that gonna leave us with part-time officers if Scotty is out for quite a while and
we'll be
and
down
Fletcher
to
retires?
We down to 7, 6?
6 or 7.
6 or 7, and we used to be 12. One thing I was gonna say, when you were mentioning August, I remember like 6 or 7 years ago, when I was sitting here, we were talking about, I wanna say, it was over a dozen burglaries once in August. I remember when we first started the Neighborhood Watch going. I wanna say, I thought there was like 17 or 15 in one month. Am I mistaken?
I don't know if it was that high, but there were a lot more than we're showing now.
There was a whole mess of them, and that really inspired us to get the Neighborhood Watch going, and we had a meeting in September at the school, but that was the basis for it all, and it was one of those, so here we are, many years later, and you've got one, so that's.
People that are committing these crimes they know what's going on, and they'd rather commit burglaries in towns that didn't have extra eyes and ears out in neighborhoods. So.
Yeah. Any questions?
Full-time, everyone's up and healthy and working. Yeah, I bumped into Gary Bartis working this week, who's actually working a day shift.
Yeah. All day and night.
He's recovered.
Yeah, he looked great. I was surprised.
Any other questions?
And I'm surprised that Fletcher retired before the duck race, because I figured he'd be there for
You
his,
probably still,
yeah, still show up.
He'll show up, that's right.
As soon as he smells the sausages.
Yeah.
But he did 17 years of service and all good years. Great guy.
Any other questions for the chief? Okay, thank you, chief. Lieutenant?
Just a couple things. First thing was this is from Melissa of her community effort she's making for the fall. The trunk or treat thing we talked about is actually kind of taken off with a lot more popularity than I think initially thought. And the Parks and Rec department is kind of helping out with the thing or spearheading the thing, and that's probably going to happen. They just haven't nailed down where they're going to do it yet, depending on how many people participate. It's either going to be probably at Eddowes Field or here at the Safety Center, depending on how many people.
And what it really means is people are gonna open the trunks of their car and have candy or things over there in the trunk of the car, everybody parks in one
Exactly
area,
right.
and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know what it entails.
Yeah.
So you gotta have parking for a lot of cars.
Right. She was thinking maybe 20 initially, but now it sounds like it might be more than that. We're also working with the school and the Historical Society and looking at making some, helping make some videos about historical things around the town, little stories,
Mhm.
to help save the stories and keep them kind of preserved.
Yep.
And to get the kids more involved in it. They have like a club that does the videos, they have a club that does social studies, research, that kind of stuff.
Yep,
So we've been Melissa's working with,
that's gonna be great, so the
Historical
kids at
Society.
the school can look over Auburn's history and
make like short little
little
5-minute segments on
presentations
each,
or
on
little,
each
yeah,
different thing.
that would be
Yeah.
awesome.
The other one is, so last month, you guys, we should check the views on the YouTube, 165 people viewed the August meeting. So that seems to still be pretty popular.
Okay,
We did have officers have to use Narcan once this month at a home on Rattlesnake Hill Road. They had administered 2 doses, but it revived the person.
yep,
That was the only one I can remember this month, was just that one actual deployment of Narcan. School is back in session. We've actually been doing a lot more stuff, Chris Bowley's been doing a lot more stuff with the school this year. They got involved in what they call ALICE training, which is like for shooter response training if there's an incident at the school, and also incorporates fire department response to the school.
yep,
Any kind of emergency response. We conducted a drill at the end of last year.
yep,
But we actually participated in the training with the teachers to how to deal with all the stuff, and that one was pretty well. We're also working on numbering all the doors and windows from the exterior for both the police and the fire department at the school, so you can know what room is which room from the outside.
good idea.
And we sent an officer to participate in a PTA night. They had a come back to school night, and officer participated in that, and that was pretty well received. Training, so I guess I'll throw this out ahead of time. When we start talking about the budget next year, that's something we may have to look at.
Okay,
The police academy has cut most of the training for free, so we had to pay a lot more for any of the training. We have a lot more younger officers who enjoy to go to the training. They learn a lot, from the training.
new techniques and whatever.
Yeah, so we're kind of actually spent our training budget already for the entire year. We're probably gonna go over. We have done a lot of in-house training here as well. So the last 3 months, we had, so in August, we had Primex came and did safe driver training here. And that was free, other than paying the officers to be here.
Yeah,
That was pretty good. So this month, we have use of force and CPR training. The fire department's gonna come and give us our CPR refresher here. And then in October, we're trying to line up a introductory to bike patrol training here at the police department. The bike department's willing to do the training, here, instead of us having to send officers away to school for that.
is that something we have to pay for?
We'd probably just have to pay the instructor,
The instructor?
yeah.
That's much cheaper to do that than
Then pay
send
everybody.
2 or 3
yeah,
people up there.
away.
Yep,
There's still an 8-hour minimum requirement
Yeah.
by police standards and training.
for the bicycle
For
patrol?
all part-time officers,
all
and
of
16
them.
for
I got
full-time officers per year for training.
Okay,
We have gotten the bike patrol going again, not as like a full patrol, not as like your whole shift spent on that.
Yep.
But our idea is that during your regular course of patrol, you would take the bike out to the park, take it off for half an hour, ride around for a while, and then staying within a reasonable distance of your car, and then go back to your regular motorized patrol. So we're not looking to do like an 8-hour
right.
bicycle patrol like Manchester does. They actually leave the police station on the bicycles, and that's all they have. They go out and patrol. We're not
Right.
looking for
That's
that.
their whole shift, this is
Right.
not.
We're looking for an officer to get some more contact with people, ride around certain neighborhoods or parks and stuff,
Yeah.
and then go back to his motorized patrol.
Are they gonna leave, is this gonna be their base station for the bikes, or are they gonna have a
We're gonna
bike
take,
holder on the?
yeah, we have a bike rack that we're gonna put on the car, so that again, you can keep the car relatively
Right.
close to you, so if you do have an emergency,
All right.
you can get back to the car.
Those aren't, okay, so those are gonna be mounted on 2 of the
Right.
vehicles?
And there's no carbon dioxide problem.
No,
No, but hey, speaking about that.
Yeah,
Okay,
we,
you saw in the newspaper about Manchester has the alert in the car and it went off and the officer needed some observation. Where are we at with that?
so we just went and got the detectors for aircraft. And
Uh-huh.
I think we actually did get the idea from Fletcher. They're small plastic tabs that you just hang in your vehicle, and they'll change colors if they're subjected to any carbon monoxide at all. Like
Okay.
any levels that are detectable, it changes black. So you'll see it.
And now how long, what's the life of that? That hangs like in the
It's
mirror?
good for a year.
It's good for a year?
Yeah.
So what, do you put it on the ceiling or hang it on?
We zip
like an
tied
air
it, we
freshener?
zip tied it to the airbag to the car.
Oh, really?
And it stays right there.
Yeah,
We couldn't find enough canaries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same, basically the same idea, except for this turns black and it, like I says, it'll detect any level way before
okay.
it becomes
Because,
any
you
kind
know,
of dangerous thing.
it started out in Texas, and it happened in Auburn, Mass, and now it happens in Manchester. So, I mean, who knows, maybe one of our cruisers would have a leak. So we just
Maybe.
wanna make sure that we're not penny wise and pound foolish.
We're probably looking at the same detectives at Manchester.
Right. But the information we've been getting is that it's mostly from installed equipment.
Yeah,
So when somebody installs like a shotgun rack or toolbox or something, they have accidentally drilled through the floor.
and they
into
penetrate
exhaust
the floor.
system. Well, we haven't had a car brought online. We should have our 2 new cars online this week. But before that, we haven't had a car brought online for a year. So we're assuming if there was gonna be a CO leak, it would have been sometime over the last year. It doesn't just spontaneously happen.
Correct.
You know, it would have already occurred.
Yeah.
But we do have those tabs as well.
So
you know,
the
as a
new
backup.
cruisers that you're gonna start using.
We'll
are-
keep a check on
We're
those.
gonna have those
Yeah.
in there also, right from day one, okay.
Right. The last thing is the IMC stuff I did this month. So we added 5 more. I think bringing us to 8 that are left. So the first one was come up with a policy for responding to routine and emergency calls. We just made a new SOP. We had a pursuit policy, so we added on to that with another policy that's after that, which we just took from, I think I got that one from Hooksett. It's
Yeah.
accredited, so we just used theirs. The next one, 14.18, policy should include restrictive language contained in the collective bargaining agreement. I think what MRI wanted us to do there is they want us to change our policies to all reflect the collective bargaining agreement, but what we did is we made a separate section in our administrative policies that says if there's something in the personnel plan or in the collective bargaining agreement, those take a precedent over anything in the SOPs. So the town's rules would be first, then the collective bargaining agreement, then the SOPs. So that way we don't have to keep changing all our SOPs every time
Okay.
there's a new collective bargaining agreement or the town's personnel plan changes.
Correct.
The next one was, they wanted, which was, again, unaudible, but we did it. It was April 1, general order dedicated specific types of searches. We had one SOP that covered all searches. So they're talking about like an inventory of a car search, a booking search, or strip searches. We had a policy that covered all that. They wanted separate policies for each one, so we just broke it down to 3 separate policies. It's the same exact policies we had before, but we put them into 3 different ones. I think that they just felt that's easier to amend them later on down the road if they need to be changed.
Okay,
And 8.10, general order should be updated by a licensed physician that identifies policies and procedures to be followed if the detainee is in need of medical attention. We had that in our policy already, which was covered in our policy that says anytime the officer believes that anyone needs medical attention, they'll call for it. They don't have to, the person doesn't have to request it. If we think that they need it, we're to call the fire department and have it
Yeah.
checked out.
okay,
And that's in that policy there, 306E3. And then the last one is, neither the complaint policy nor the current department practice includes provisions for a complainant to receive a copy of his or her written complaint. It is suggested the copy of the complaint to include the date, time received, the official, be given the complaint. Well, we just added that to our policies for our complaints, that when a person makes a written complaint, they're given a copy of it with the date and time.
So they can
Their
verify-
officer
they'll be able to
who
have-
received it, it's on the form.
so they can prove that they came here and they got
Right.
it signed.
Right.
Okay. Any questions for Ray?
No, that's good.
No?
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Ray.
Yep.
Okay, so we got the MRI monthly update, and you also covered the update on the video hits. So, folks, this is our, let me see, next month is when we're gonna talk about it at our next police commission meeting. We'll be discussing the pros and cons of doing what we've done and where we go from there. So, I still believe we're the only group, commission or group like the selectmen are, or nobody else, right, Bill? Okay, so we'll have a good discussion, I'll be on the agenda for next month, and then we can make a request or a motion or whatever, a policy moving forward from the next meeting on. Okay, we have one evaluation, Dennis, you have that. We'd like to work on that one if we could.
This is, make a motion that we grant Officer Muzafa Aku a step increase from labor grade 7, step 11 to labor grade 7, step 12, based on acceptable or satisfactory performance review.
I'll second it. Okay, in favor? Aye. Okay. All right, any questions, folks?
I got a couple budgets. Bill, do you know when we're looking at getting started on the budgets?
The selectmen will be starting by the end of this month. We're trying to do most of them in October.
So we should plan on starting at our next meeting?
Definitely. I would, in fact, that is something I neglected to ask you, Ray. How, you know, we're starting to get down to definite budget season.
Okay.
And we might have to have a, extra meeting.
Yeah.
We may have to have an extra
Definitely.
meeting to,
I mean, our next meeting is
the 1st of October.
Yeah.
And we still would have the meeting in November before we normally meet with the selectmen, which,
Yeah,
in the past, it's always been the second or third, before Thanksgiving.
We've always had a workshop with them.
Yeah, it gets tight if we don't do
Yeah.
something that's
Just
just
so
a
at one
budget.
point we'll have to, probably in October, have our October meeting and then schedule another meeting where we can just hash out a lot of budget stuff. So when we get to the November meeting, we can, at least as a commission, approve the budget and move it on to the selectmen. And just a recap, we'll save it for next month, no problem. I was gonna say something, but it'd be out of context, so. Anybody have any questions at all? Okay, without any questions, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:22 PM.
So move.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.